Well, welcome and thank you for being here on a Saturday, and special thanks to your teachers and coaches. It's just phenomenal that you were able to get this done during such trying times. My name's Rebecca Tinder. I'm a retired attorney from Charleston, West Virginia, and the West Virginia We the People coordinator.
My name is Lindsay Draper. I'm retired from the juvenile court bench here in Milwaukee County, Wisconsin, but so that you don't misunderstand, I was born in Gadsden, so it's good to see you all.
Hello, everybody. My name is Candida Steele, and I'm retired as a judge on the U.S. Civilian Board of Contract Appeals. I handled federal government contract disputes around the country, and I'm very happy to see you here today. Thank you.
And you are?
Hi, my name is Channing McGuffey.
Hello, my name is Lauren Pate.
Hello, my name is Adam Chavez.
And we are all from RF Bumpus Middle School, representing Unit 5, and our teacher is Ms. Hall.
All right, thank you. We're going to do question 1. When a choice must be made, is it better to allow those who preach racial hate rather than to be panicked into embarking on the dangerous course of permitting the government to decide what its citizens may say and hear? Do you agree or disagree with Judge Bernard Decker's upholding the rights of Nazis to march in Skokie, Illinois? Why? What limits has the U.S. Supreme Court placed on freedom of expression? What benefit, if any, is there from the presentation of ideas that are designed to alarm, antagonize, and offend members of society? What limits on freedom of expression, if any, should be placed on social media sites? You may begin.
Liberty must at all hazards be supported. We have a right to it, derived from our Maker, but if we had not, our fathers have earned and bought it for us, at the expense of their ease, their estate, their pleasure, and their blood. John Adams stated this in 1765. I agree with Judge Bernard's upholding of the rights. Freedom of assembly means the right to hold public meetings and form associations without interference by the government. In World War I, many Americans were fearful the United States would get involved. People also held rallies, as stated by Study.com. Martin Luther King Jr. also quotes, without general elections, without freedom of the press, without the free battle of opinions, life in every public institution withers away, becomes a caricature of itself, and bureaucracy rises as the only deciding factor. This states that even though the rallies that Judge Bernard is defending might not be the best, the Constitution still protects the rights to it. George Washington once stated, if the freedom of speech is taken away, then dumb and silent we may be led, like sheep to the slaughter. Some limits to the freedom of expression are burning the flag, yelling fire in a movie theater, and many more. Freedom of expression refers to the ability of an individual or group of individuals to express their beliefs, thoughts, ideas, and emotions about different issues free from government censorship. Freedom of expression contributes to what the Supreme Court has called the marketplace of ideas. Although it says free from government censorship, you still can't wreak havoc or mess with the government's military. For example, during World War I, socialist Charles Schenck and Elizabeth Baird distributed leaflets declaring that the draft violated the 13th Amendment. Schenck was charged with conspiracy to violate the Espionage Act of 1917 by attempting to cause insubordination in the military and obstruct recruitment. Schenck lost, and due to this establishment, the clear and present danger test, stated by Aussie.org, was created. You can have the right to freedom of expression as long as it abides by the law and Constitution. There are also good things that come from the limits on freedom of expression.
There are many benefits that come from the presentation of ideas that alarm, antagonize, or offend members of society. An example of this comes from what happened to Galileo. Galileo was an Italian astronomer in the 1500s and 1600s who discovered very important things about our universe. He was one of the first people to introduce the idea of a heliocentric solar system, which places the sun as the center of the universe, not the earth as people previously thought. This was not taken well by everyone. The Catholic Church declared it heresy because it was so controversial and outlandish. It shocked and offended everyone, but eventually They led to important scientific discoveries and helped shape what we know about our solar system and universe today. So even though they offended people, they ended up helping us understand more about our world.
There are multiple limits that should be placed on social media that limit freedom of expression / speech. These limits should be enforced by the social media platform themselves, as there are no government restrictions on speech other than illegal actions such as doxing. Doxing is the act of spreading personal information of someone online. In the Brandenburg v. Ohio case, KKK member Brandenburg made a speech at a Klan rally and was later convicted under an Ohio criminal syndicalism law. Brandenburg ended up winning his case as the court held that Ohio violated Brandenburg's freedom of speech. This case, although not directly dealing with social media, shows that when the government tried to step in, they were overturned. Social media websites should be allowed to limit what their users can say. The government should continue as they have been doing, not allowing doxing and other illegal activities.
We are ready for the question and answer period.
Thank you. You mentioned in your prepared remarks that you can't mess with the government in speech. Should false information be protected by the First Amendment if it's not related to government?
I don't think it should be protected because it's not true. It's faulty, and therefore it could spread panic among the people, and that is not.
If it doesn't spread panic, if it's just not true, but it's not causing any physical harm or panic in the community, should the First Amendment protect it or not?
I don't think it should, because even if it's not like causing a large group of people to panic, if someone were to lie about someone in a higher position, like the CEO of a company, it could ruin their reputation over something that's not true. So even though it's not causing a large state of panic, it still might ruin a person's life that didn't deserve it.
Could I get you to go back to your statement and tell me whether you're saying flag burning should be permitted or is not permitted? I want to be sure I understood what you were saying.
It should not be permitted.
And why not?
Should not be allowed because it is people might not agree with it and then hold unsafe rallies, but also because it's in the Constitution, or it's a law, and it's unpatriotic, I guess.
And if I believe the flag has come to represent something that I just find to be abhorrent, a specific war thing, is that not me speaking out? And doesn't the Constitution and Supreme Court cases say, but you're free to say even unpopular things?
Could you elaborate on that more?
All I'm asking is, if I believe that most people are wrong and I need to get their attention to help them understand that they're wrong, can't I do something dramatic to make them look at me? Like burning a flag?
I suppose so, as long as it's not dangerous.
Okay. All right. Thank you.
Candida, you're muted.
Sorry. So what defines danger? What do you think is a clear and present danger?
Well, in the Schenck versus, ma'am?
No, go ahead. Sorry.
In the Schenck versus U.S. the Clear and Present Danger Act was made, and it states that like as long as no word or act inflicts on someone else that's dangerous. I think that's what you're trying to ask.
Okay. Anybody else have an opinion?
Does freedom of expression contribute to good government? And explain your answer.
I think that it does, because the government is supposed to represent everyone and help everyone and just govern everyone. So if everyone isn't allowed to express their opinions about what they think the government should do or be, it won't be able to function properly.
So are there any current events that you believe we need to speak out to try and change people's minds about? Anything happening in the world now that you think it would be important for us to try and change the minds of other people? If you want an example, for instance, I'll throw one out to you. I know a whole bunch of people don't intend to get vaccinated. I think it's important to talk to them about that. Can you come up with anything else? If you can't, that's okay. All right, thanks.
Candida? You're muted, Candida.
Trying not to have my husband banging around in the kitchen heard, sorry. Do you think that there should be limits on students' free expression, and whether or not that should be determined by age of the students, perhaps? Should you be allowed to say whatever you want at school?
I don't think you should be allowed to say whatever you want in school, because it could disrupt the learning environment. It could make other people very uncomfortable. And in school, you have to go every day, and you don't want to feel like you're unsafe or just very uncomfortable with a certain person or a certain group of people.
Okay. And who should be responsible for doing that?
I feel like the administration or the principal or someone. To elaborate on what Lauren was saying, there's a court case, I forgot what it was called, but it was with a cheerleader and the school. And she posted on social media about how she like didn't make the team and all of this. She included profanity, but she also didn't include the school. So that kind of makes it a little confusing. But to agree with what Lauren was saying, I think that there should be limits on what you can say at school because it can disrupt the classes.
So with the, I'm sorry.
So if I just said, Channing is fat and has green hair, but it's not disrupting the learning environment, would that be protected speech or not protected speech under the First Amendment at school? Or never mind.
That's sorry.
Because we're out of time.
Great, thank you.
Thank you so much. What a great presentation. We obviously wanted to keep talking with you, which means it was really good. And you and your teachers should be very proud. I enjoyed your John Adams quote at the beginning of your prepared remarks, and your weaving in the case of course, Brandenburg and Schenck in your prepared remarks, and then going back to in the questioning a current case that's before our U.S. Supreme Court right now. And it doesn't matter that you didn't remember the name. It was okay because you explained what case it was, so we all knew what case you were talking about. And so that's great that you're following what's happening in our U.S. Supreme Court right now and how that is related to this topic. I also like that that you recognize that for government to work, that they need to be able to hear from the people. And I think that's an important concept, that we keep those lines of communication open. And I just thought you did a really good job, and you and your teachers should be commended. Lindsay?
Yeah, I want to compliment you on a couple of things, and I apologize for going back over what you just heard about. It's one thing, you get a lot of time to work on the statement, that the first 4 minutes, you all have time to do that. But the cheerleader, my recollection is that was last week, if I remember watching that on the news. And frankly, if you had asked me the name of the case, I don't know. I know what happened, and I know what the issue was, and that you were able to relate what she said on social media, which was part of this question, to what we were talking about today, that says you didn't just get ready over the last few months, but you're paying attention and relating it to now. So I really do think that is a huge statement to me as to whether you are internalizing what you have learned. It's critical. And as I told you, having roots in Alabama, I'm really proud of the fact that you've tried to make sure that this isn't just an activity, but it's something that you are helping drive in your discussion. So thank you for the presentation, and good luck to you.
Thank you. I agree. It was a nice presentation. It was good fun to talk with you. And not only did you talk about somebody last week, but talking about the Earth moving around the sun was a really nice example of people can be wrong until they're right. And getting out there and telling people the truth isn't always the easiest thing to do. So that was a really nice example. Thank you. And I think you did a really lovely job. And I hope that you are inspired by this. I hope you had fun looking at these questions. And I know you'll be great citizens and you'll go out and vote every chance you get. But I hope that you also will use your experience to educate the people around you about why it's important to participate and be a good citizen and go out and vote. But maybe you might be inspired to go beyond that. You might be happy to represent us in local or state governments, and boy, do we need it. So thank you. It was a lovely presentation and a pleasure to hear you. Thank you. I hope you had fun.